Hey there. So today what we're going to do is the sixth installment of the RGPTools game engine. And what we're going to do is we are going to attempt to set up a quest and build it into the existing dialogue. I'm going to switch over the screen right now. And you can see here we are looking at the Nixie character, and she's in her little grotto. And what we'd previously set up was we'd set up a basic dialogue intro where you talk to her and you can exit the conversation, or you could talk to her and she asks you to help her out. So I'm just going to quickly review that and then we'll pick up where we left off. So here we are in the engine. Now I don't have any sounds running because it was interfering with the microphone. So I just don't have any audible, but I'm just going to hold shift down. We're going to run over here. I'm going to actually go zoom in a little bit. And so what we'd done is we'd set up this Nixie area. I had tweaked this water to work a little better. But we'd set up this this little grotto with the Nixie character. So now when we come in here, we talk to her, and we have the choice to leave the conversation. We'd set up this dialogue, so we can leave this conversation, or we can say, hey, yeah, we can help, what's the problem? So we'll click on that, and then it just goes away on us, right? And then we talk to her again, and it comes up with this. So it's not supposed to actually close there. There's an issue with that, but this doesn't do anything at this point in time. When we click it, it just stays open, and we've got to exit out. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up. I'm going to just zoom out here. So that over here, where we had set up the spider, we're going to set it up so that you come over here, you fight the spider, and then the spider when you kill the spider, it will complete the quest for you. So we're just going to keep it really simple. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to save as we are right now. And I'm just going to remind you that when you're in preview mode, sometimes the dialogue and the quest editor doesn't work exactly right. So it's always best to, give it a couple tries, see if it works well for you, because sometimes it glitches out. And that's just in preview mode. When you compile the game, it doesn't have the same issue. I'm not sure why that issue is there, but it does seem to happen. So just, run the preview a couple of times and go through the motions to see if it works properly for you. But that being said, so what I'm going to do here actually is I'm going to take the spider, and I'm just going to move the spider up here by the trees. And then that way, we don't have to come all the way down here. We can move the spider back later in order to test the quest. We could just cross the creek and test the quest. So I'm just going to save that. And now we're going to come over here to the data editor. And what we're going to do is we're going to come across here. There's all these categories, if you remember from the previous episodes. And there's quests. And what we have here is there was the intro quest that comes with the example tutorial for you to analyze and look at. But there's also the spider quest. So the spider quest, I had set it up, and it is basically just a super simple objective quest. So what you do is you come in here and you name it, then you give it a display name. You'll notice there's an underscore, there's not an underscore, and there's two capitals. Then you can tell it to auto start basically when you enter the area or when the game starts, it'll actually fire up and it's an ongoing quest for you. Or you can assign your own objectives and make it do its own thing. So currently we have no objectives at it, and we don't have any start actions at it. Then we come down here, finish conditions, we have nothing assigned, we don't have auto finish, and we don't have we just have this finishing actions. When it finishes, it's going to just play this cha-ching sound so that you know it finished. And this upgrade, it's going to just give you experience points, 200 experience points. So it doesn't do too much. It just completes itself out. But it will display in the quest log. So that quest has been set up really simple. We're not doing anything too fancy with it. We just want to identify that it starts. So starting actions, I also want to add to that. And what I want to do is I want to go not a set variable. I want to change that to play sound. So simply play sound. And I'm simply going to browse sound effects. And I'm just going to come down here and find a I wonder if I scroll past it. I'm just trying to find the coin ching. Yeah, we'll do that. Quest accepted. There we go. We'll do that one. Quest accepted. File. Save. So now we want to come out of the data editor. And we want to come back to the level editor. Now in the level editor, you'll see here that there's no dialog open, even though it's turned on. You just need to go to Tools, uncheck the dialog box, check it back on, and here it is. Here's your dialog. So we want to choose the Nixie dialog, and we want to open that up again. And if you remember from our dialog episode, we set all this up. So basically what she does is we've got these two things in here. Basically she says hello stranger, which we showed on the screen. Then there's no conditions to be met for this to show up on the screen. Some people might think that's conditions to move on, but it's not. It's conditions for this to just be displayed in the first place. We don't have any, but we do have some replies. We have no, I'm in a hurry, I can't stop to help you. And then we have, of course we can, what's the problem? So the no in the hurry, it just closes the dialog, and that's all it is. Just closes the dialog on us. Okay, now of course we can. What is the problem? We have the dialog set to close. I don't think we need that. I think we need that off. I'm going to uncheck that. Of course we can. What is the problem? And then from there, what it does is it triggers this next dialog, which is, well, there's a giant spider across the creek in a cave. All right. Which would be this one here. So if I click on that, it now changes to that dialog, which says, would you please help? And then we come down here and conditions. There's no condition set. And there's a reply, no, I don't think so. It's just flowers, basically meaning, yeah, I'm not going to worry about it, and close the quest out, which should have a closed dialog right there, selected. All right. Then we've got, yes, you bet, see you shortly. Yes, you bet, see you shortly. And then it's set here to close the dialog. But what we want to do is we want to actually add some actions. So we don't want another dialog to come up. So we want to make sure that's set to none. And then under actions, what we want to do is we want to add an action. Then we're going to change that from set variable. And we're going to come down here to start a quest. I'm going to check that. Then we just choose the quest, which we'd set up in the data editor, spider's web, and we're good to go. So now I'm just going to save that. All right. So now what we want to do is there's no conditions to play this. It should just play. So that should start the quest. Then what we want to do is under next to, we want to set a condition. We're going to change this. Thank you very much. You have freed me from having to stay here. I will come with you on your adventures. Now, there is one thing that I'm going to point out, like that's too long, this text box, to be displayed properly in that window. So you're going to need to format it. So I'm just going to drop that down. And I'm going to leave it there. And put another space in there. And we're going to see, we're going to browse to the portraits. Characters, Nixie, open, file, save. All right, I'm going to close this, and we're going to see if this works. Now again, sometimes it takes a couple times to go through to make it work properly with the preview mode, but it's not like that in the when you actually build out the engine. So I think it's a bug. Maybe it's just something with me. I don't know. Nobody else seems to be complaining about it, so maybe it's just my version. But here we go. We're going to come up here. Talk to Nixie. All right. So there's our original dialogue. Click on, of course we can. Here she tells us about the spider. Yes, you bet. And now you see over here, the quest started. So if I pull up my quest log, spider's web, it's reachable. So there's states to a quest, but you can't, depending on how you do it in the dialogue or in the quest update actions or in events on the game screen, you can't necessarily set all of the different states. There's like 4 states. And I've asked that the developer add the different states to all the different basically triggers and event triggerables so that you can set them from wherever, because you're not always going to have just a talking quest. Sometimes it's going to be an action quest, sometimes it's going to be a go to place, sometimes it's going to be enter an area and trigger an area effect. So you're going to want to be able to set these to the different states at different stages in the quest from different actions in the game. So I'm going to close the quest window, and now I'm going to cross the creek over here. And I'm hopefully going to be able to kill this spider off. And hopefully the quest works. There's the spider, where we put her so that it was easy. I'm going to blast her here. There we go, she spider. Now I did set a loot box with her for like a spider spinner. I didn't show you that on camera, but we'll do that. Just to show you, spiderweb extract, take all. All right, now did my quest log update? I don't think it did. So normally what you could do is you could put that as an updatable state. And because I didn't put in a mechanism to trigger that. Pardon my dog, they're just playing. So when I come back and talk to her, it comes back to the original again, because I didn't put a trigger in on the spider to update the state of that quest. So we'll exit out of there. And then what we want to do is we want to select that spider. Then here's where I set up the loot drop. I added a component to the spider. Then I said that it's basically loot. Then it's a spider drop. And then that spider's drop we set up in the loot table in the data editor. Loot, spider drop, and what that has in it. Oh, maybe I just set it up as an item. Drop the item. Yeah, there we go. Spider extract. So I just set that up as it just drops the spider extract. That's what I did. But you could set up a loot table for spiders, add a bunch of items to that drop, and then it could be like spider spill, spider's leg, spider's claw, whatever. There, you could add a bunch of things and add a percentage for those to be dropped, and then depend when you kill the spider, you don't necessarily get the spider extract every time. But I just wanted to show you how I set that up so that you knew how to do that. Back to level editor. Spider still selected. So down here we've got destroy after loot. And then down here we've got an animation state and variables that we can set. So, but what I want to do here now is I want to go and add a new component. Close off loot. Add a component. I don't want it to be loot. Change that. No. See, this is where it's missing. So this is where it would be nice to add a component and be able to say, hey, change quest state. This is what I was talking about. It's not everywhere you need it. It would be really nice to have it here, and then you go change quest state, and then change that state to achieved or whatever, right? So I don't have the ability to do it there, so I'm going to minus that out. Now there is a spot in here. Is it under game logic? On kill action. So on kill action. Oh, I did have finished quest in here, but I have to select it. I think when I updated the game, that probably blanked itself out. So there was an update where this didn't actually work for me. So we'll just assign that now so I can finish the quest from here. But you see, it feels like in the game logic that it really shouldn't be here on kill actions. It feels like it should be a component for a quest state to be changed. However, it is available there, but it feels like you've got to go hunting for it. So that's all. It just feels like it's in the wrong spot. But so that should work now. So if I go File, Save, Play. And I'm sorry it takes me a little poking around to do that. I've only set up a few quests and gone through a few. As I'm learning all these components, as I said, some things are in spots where I wouldn't instinctively look for them, so it's a little hard to find them even though they are there. Course will help you. Yes, you bet. There's the quest. Run across the creek here. Here we go. Here we go. Pick up the loot. Even though we don't need it for the quest, we'll take it. And now, in theory, it finished my quest. So there we go. The quest got cleared out. We're back down to just the intro quest that comes with the example game engine. So now we'll see about setting it up so that that next quest from her happens, or the next stage. See, it comes back to this again. It doesn't show that next stage. So what we've got to do now, because we've set that up to complete that quest, is we want to come over to the dialogue editor and this one, we want to have a condition Did I put replies in there? Yeah. Delete, we don't need 3. Delete, we don't need 3. We want conditions, and what we want to do is we want to go quest, state, and we want to go choose the spider web quest, and we want to make it finished. There we go. So here's where I said there's the 4 states in a quest, and you can set those here in the dialog. But as you saw in that last screen, you could only choose started or finished for a quest state, and it would be nice to have reachable, active, inactive. It'd be nice to have all of these so that you can trigger other dialogue chains or other events or actions to happen. It would be nice to have those available on the monster kill or in the quest action or in an event action. It'd be nice to have all of these available everywhere to be able to be configured and triggered. But this is where those are at. So I've been avoiding using these two because I don't have any way to change them into this outside of a dialogue. So it'd be nice if I killed the spider, I could go from active, I could make it active when you accept it, to then reachable when you kill the spider, and then trigger it finished when you come back and talk to her. But right now what I've had to do is skip using active and just go right to reachable by accepting the quest. So not the end of the world, but it'd be nice to be able to configure all of those everywhere. So if the quest is finished, so that should do the trick. This only shows up if that quest is finished. File, save, close off the dialog, run that again, zip up there real quick. Now I'm not sure if I checked on or off the closed dialog box, so that may not work perfectly on the go around, but that would have just been because of that one checkbox. All right. Of course, what's the problem? Yes, you bet. See you shortly. There's my quest popped up in my quest window. There's my quest right there. Spider's web. Close my quest window. Run over here and fight the spider. Dead spider. Pick up the loot. Let's come back over here to Nixie. So the quest should be completed and gone. See, it's not here anymore because we completed it. I didn't block these out, by the way. Oh, and it did not show. I did something wrong in the logic because with the quest finished, it did not show it. Let me go. Data editor. I may not have kept it in the quest log when it's finished. It says show in quest log. Finish actions, play sound, update. It should be showing in the quest log, but it is not. So I'm not sure why that is not showing up in there. Okay, let's go back to the level editor. Tools. Bring the dialog editor back. Quest state. Is finished. Maybe. Alright, so we're down here. So destroy after loot, that's fine. And just ignore my puppies. Okay. So then we'll go back up here into the game logic again where I set that up. On kill, finish quest. That should have worked. With that, setting that to the finished quest state. That should have worked. Because that changes spider quest to the finish state. Then in the dialog, for this to come up, the condition checks for it to be finished. So that might be a bug. I'm going to report that to Martin. I could be doing something wrong. But for now, I may remake this video later if he tells me I did something wrong. But for now, I'm going to post this, and then he can watch it, and he can let me know what's going on. Because I've showed you pretty much how to use the dialogue editor and the quest editor to set up a quest and to go between stages. I've also showed you how to set up how to change the state of a quest through the dialogue editor and through the game logic on the actual monster that is tied to it, which you could also do through an event. It doesn't have to be a monster. It could be an event like a trigger zone or something. So I've showed you how to set it up so you could play around with all that yourself. And then if Martin shows me how to fix that, or if it's a bug and he fixes it himself, I'll put a comment in if it's a bug. And if there's a different way to do it that he would prefer that I use, then I can remake and repost this video. And I'll just call it like quest tutorial amended or something like that. But for now, I'm going to post this out there, and at least it gets you through the basics of setting up a quest and knowing how to tie it into the dialogue and knowing how to tie in the state change due to accomplishing the task set out in a quest. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.